Vector scramble into descending zone.
Hello, today is January 24th, 2020, and we're going to take a short IFR flight from Tacoma Narrows over to Bremerton National. We filed an IFR flight plan in Pilot Edge and we'll be communicating with ATC via Pilot Edge today. Now, the focus of this video is the missed approach and hold. I'm going to go ahead and bring up ForeFlight and show you what we have cooked up for today. All right, so here's Tacoma Narrows. We're going to take off and fly a heading of 350, it's basically runway 35, that heading. And while in the air, we're going to contact approach control and ask that our flight plan be activated. So we're going to do a pop-up clearance. And then we're going to ask for vectors for the ILS runway 20 approach into Bremerton National. I'm going to go ahead and make that plate stand out a little bit more so you can see the procedure. Okay, so there's the approach plate. And so we're going to be getting vectors somewhere up in here for our final approach, which is on a heading of 197 degrees. We're going to fly that down to the minimums, which are published right here. ILS runway 20 is 642 feet, which gives us 200 AGL. And then we're going to execute the missed approach. So the missed approach point for the ILS approach is when you reach 642 feet on glide slope. If you can't see the runway environment where you can make a landing safely, you would then execute the missed approach. The graphic representation is here, so we're going to climb on runway heading of 197 to 4,000 feet. Then we're going to intersect the Olympia 346 radial, and we're going to fly that to CARRO intersection. Now let's take a look at it here. So again, runway heading on the missed approach, we're climbing. We're going to intersect this radial, the 346. We're going to fly that inbound on a heading of 166 degrees. Once we reach the CARRO intersection, we're going to make a right standard rate turn to heading 346, and then we're going to time this for 1 minute outbound. And then we're going to make a standard rate turn to the right again, and then inbound on heading 166. We're going to stay in the hold for probably 2 circuits around the holding pattern. And then we're going to ask for vectors to reshoot the ILS runway 20 approach, again at Bremerton National. So that's the plan for today. Let's do some last minute checklist items here. And we're going to turn the fuel pump on. Rechecking pressure. Fuel pressure is good. Radios and avionics are on. And we're going to set tower frequency, which actually we're going to treat that as a CTAF here today because Pilot Edge doesn't cover Tacoma Narrows as a towered airport. So we treat that as a CTAF. And then when we're airborne, we're going to switch over to 120.1, which is Seattle Approach Control. We'll ask them to activate our flight plan, and then we'll ask, as I said, for vectors for the ILS runway 20 approach. And transponder on and squawking altitude. So we're going to squawk altitude and 1200, that is set. I'm going to verify devices. I'm going to go ahead and bring ForeFlight up so that you can see what I'm doing here. X-plane is connected, back to checklist. Lights as needed. We're going to put our landing light on. We have strobes, rotating beacon, and nav lights are on. Flaps are set for takeoff. Yes, they're neutral. Cabin door, we're going to latch tops and bottoms. Tops is latched, bottoms latched. Window is closed. And secure fuel selector timer is on. All right. Okay. I'm switching over to map view. I'm going to, you can't see ForeFlight, I'm going to make sure I keep bringing that up for you. Okay, we're going to orient the view to the direction of flight and taxi into position. So I'm going to get rid of ForeFlight for now. And then we'll make our call to local traffic and then take off and head northbound.
Approaching runway 17.
All right, there we are. Okay, flight plan is filed, and we are on CTAF frequency. Tacoma traffic, Cherokee 7428 Romeo, taking off runway 17, departure to the north. Tacoma traffic. Now, one thing I want to point out, I'm going to stop here on the runway. I normally wouldn't do this in real world flight, but for the purpose of the video, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to stop right here. All right, DG is set. Okay, so because this airplane, and I fly this airplane because it very closely emulates my world airplane, a couple of differences. One is, this only has a single VOR here. My airplane has two VORs. One display is here, the tachometer's here, the VOR 2 is here, VOR 1 is here. So I'm able to identify on the missed approach, which is right here, I'm able to identify this radial, which is which defines the CARRO intersection. The Olympia 113.4. I'm going to have that set into my nav radio, the only one I have here, my only VOR right there. Now, if I had dual VORs, I would set up this radial off the CTAC VOR, which is 116.8. This radial, the 230 radial, and then that would define the intersection. So as I'm flying 346 inbound, I'm watching the course deviation indicator on my VOR 2, and when that centers, I know that I'm at the CARRO intersection, but I don't have a VOR, a second VOR in this airplane. So what I did in lieu of that is I programmed the CTAC VOR to CARRO intersection direct. Okay, so that defines the 230 radial right here. So we're going to watch the course deviation indicator here, and when that centers, we know that we have reached the CARRO intersection, and then we're going to fly the hold as I described earlier. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. All right, flying full power. Engine instruments are in the green. Power is available for takeoff, and airspeed indicator is alive. We're looking for 75. Our rotation speed, there's 70 and 75 off the ground. And we're going to make a normal VY climb. On runway heading, VY is 85 miles per hour in this airplane, and runway heading, trimming for that. So we're going to climb out to 4,000 feet. That's going to be our filed altitude. So once we reach about 300 feet below pattern altitude, which is, pattern altitude is 1,300, so when we reach 1,000 feet, we'll make our right turn out. There's 1,000. I may ask for a clearance sooner than 4,000 feet. And the reason is that we might be getting into some IMC, so we might as well activate our IFR flight plan sooner rather than later. I'm going to roll out on heading 350. There's 350. And rolling out, continuing our climb. And now I'm going to switch over to south approach. There's coming up on 2,500. Seattle approach, Cherokee 7428, rail me a request. And 3,000. Column is off. Gotta listen for a minute here. Seattle approach, Cherokee 7428, Romeo request.
There's 7248 Romeo. Go ahead.
Cherokee 7428 Romeo is 5 miles north of Tacoma Narrows. Level at 3,500. We'd like to activate our IFR flight plan to Bremerton National.
And just because it's November 7824 Romeo.
Call sign 7428 Romeo. So I'm going to level off here because I see some clouds up there, and then she'll probably give us a clearance up to 4,000.
For 7428 Romeo, squawk 4255 head out.
and I didn't to 8 Romeo.
Sky 616, report IFR cancellation or missed approaches. Frequency around the ground 122.2, change device frequency per. Two Romeo, radar contact 13 miles southwest of Seattle Airport, Seattle altimeter 2998. Climb maintain 4,000. You are cleared to Bremerton Airport as filed. And do you approach request?
Climb and maintain 4,000, cleared to the Bremerton National Airport as filed. We'd like vectors for the ILS runway 20, please. 28 Romeo.
2 Romeo, red heading 360 vector. Actually, it looks like you're on a 360 heading. Flight present heading, vector ILS runway 20 approach.
Present heading, then vectors for the ILS runway 20 approach, 28 Romeo. Okay, so we're climbing it. It's a good thing we got the clearance when we did, because there definitely were some clouds just above 3,500. We went into them. Probably be going into some more clouds here before too long. Okay, so we're gonna reduce power and level off at 4,000. We'll go through our cruise checklist. Coming up on 4,000. And there's 4,000. Okay, fuel selector is set to the appropriate tank. Primers in and locked. Fuel pump off. Mixture, we're going to lean for best power. That's done. Undercarriage, mixture is set. Props and switches. Landing light off. Okay, so there's 4,000. And she said maintain present heading, which we have bugged. Actually, we'll run a heading of 350. It's going to hold 350. It's going to bring up from the flight just to give you a look at where we are. There's us in relation to the approach. So she'll vector us somewhere out here and then give us a left turn. And then probably another left turn to intersect the final approach course of 197 on localizer. So right now in here I have the localizer frequency for Bremerton National 111.10. Since that's the first thing we're going to be looking for when we get the vectors. Smooth air here, hopefully it stays that way all the way into Bremerton. Now even though this is only a 15 nautical mile flight, because we filed IFR and we're getting vectored, it's going to end up being more than twice that distance, all told. Again, the main focus here is going to be the missed approach procedure, which, just to review, we're going to fly runway heading, and then we're going to intersect this radial right here off the Olympia VOR. We're going to fly that to the CARRO intersection, and that's going to be defined by this radial off the SeaTac VOR to the CARRO intersection. We're basically using the GPS as a VOR. So I don't have RNAV in my airplane, and so I'm training as if I don't have it on this airplane, even though it's there. So again, I'm using it as a VOR. I have already done an RNAV video, and I'm going to do some more because it is going to be required as part of my instrument proficiency check. So I do want to be fully familiar with all the RNAV procedures in the area as well. All right, so everything's looking good. We're at 4,000. We went through our cruise checklist. We're on the correct heading. It looks like some weather updates are happening there. I did want to comment that I'm recording on a new program. I was using GeForce Experience and was getting all kinds of screen jitter. There was a conflict going on between the screen mirroring program, which projects my iPad image onto the screen that you're seeing there, and GeForce Experience. It was, again, causing a lot of screen shake. So now I'm using Filmora 9. It's a program I had all along. It's what I do all my video editing in. And unbeknownst to me, it had a screen recording feature in it. So I started using that, and I'm not having any issues whatsoever. So real happy with that. As you can see, we're in and out of the clouds. We have real world weather set, which I do like to do because it corresponds closely with what ForeFlight has shown us real world. So I'm going to switch over to the Bremerton
Bremerton National Weather. Wind 190 at 7, visibility 9, rain. Sky conditions 700 scattered, 2,700 overcast, temperature 8, dew point 8. Altimeter 2996.
No, 121 Bravo to Phoenix clear.
Bremerton National Weather. Wind 190 at 7,
Okay.
visibility 9, rain.
TP1 Bravo Charlie, Roger, stand by.
Okay, everything's looking good. As I fly these approaches, I'm deliberately not looking at ForeFlight. There is a temptation to do that. It's fantastic for situational awareness, knowing where your airplane is in relation to the destination airport and the published procedure. But you're supposed to fly your instruments on an IFR flight plan, and that's what I do. Actually, ForeFlight can become a distraction.
Sky High 616, Seattle Center, thank you. IFR cancellation received.
It can be
Now
a
121
distraction.
Bravo Charlie, clear to Sedona Airport, Quake 1 departure, cartel transition, direct, climb via SID, accept maintain 5,000, expect flight level 200, correction, expect flight level 220, radar vectors, cannot talk, expect flight level 220, 10 minutes after departure, departure frequency 119.2, squawk 7201.
Okay, so I have the CTAF frequency in standby here, which is the CTAF at Bremerton National. Then come left.
So 1 Bravo Charlie, squawk 7201.
Okay, so when I'm on this approach, I need to remember to switch over right here. I'm going to switch this over to the Olympia VOR frequency right there, and I'm going to
So 1 Bravo Charlie, read
fly the 346 radio right here, which is 166 inbound. Okay, everything's looking good. So again, just to review, I'm going to bring up the plates here. This is what we're going to be flying right here. .197, and we're going to be on glide slope, and then here's the decision altitude of 642 feet. That puts us 200 AGL. We need at least a half-mile visibility. We have more than that. We just listen to ATIS. They, I believe, said 9 miles. And then just to review the missed approach, climb 4,000 on runway heading. OL up 346 radial if you're not into CARRO intersection. If you're not at 4,000 by CARRO, you continue climbing in the holding pattern. Holding pattern is going to be a direct entry, as you can see right here, as opposed to a teardrop or parallel entry, so that makes it an easy entry. I'm going to time that leg for 1 minute outbound. Okay, everything's looking great. So this is the plates view that we're on right here. You can see plates. I'm going to switch back over to maps. Should be getting a vector here pretty soon. On some heading, maybe 270-ish, something like that. Looks like the localizer's alive. We don't have glide slope, but that'll come in soon enough. It's taking us out a little further than I expected. For that vector.
Arterial Romeo, turn left, heading 220.
Left 220, 28 Romeo. Alright, there's the term I'm looking for. Standard rate, as indicated down here, wingtip on the mark, on the hash mark. That'll give you a 360-degree turn in 2 minutes. As indicated right here, that says 2 minutes right there. Looking for 222. There's the glide slope. And 220 rolling out right there. I'm going to set the heading bug. 220. And hold that. I'm going to switch.
Documents and handbook complete.
Okay, switch into this view right here. So I don't get tempted to look at the runway if it is visible at all. Alright, so I'm heading 220 at 4,000. She should be giving us descent to maybe 3,000 and possibly clear us. So again, we're looking for the localizer right there, so possibly clear us for the approach on our present heading. Most likely will.
Air 121 Charlie, Phoenix ground room 8, taxi via Alpha.
Okay, everything's looking great. Heading's good, altitude's good. As you can see down here, we're doing 102 miles per hour over ground. So instead of stepping us in with 2 headings, she's gonna...
Arterial Romeo, you are 4 miles from Womax. Maintain 3,000 till established localizer. Cleared ILS runway 20 approach.
Okay, descend and maintain 3,000 till established, cleared for the ILS runway 20 approach, turn to it, Romeo. Alright, so I'm just going to do a cruise descent down to 3,000. Present heading until we intercept the localizer right here. It's good training too because it's coming in at nighttime here. Won't be much to see outside the airplane. It'll cause you to focus more on your instruments, or at least it does me. Okay, there's 2,500, looking for 3,000. Looking for the localizer to come in. Now, if you bring up the plate view, it also shows your airplane in relation to the approach. $300 to go. As I have been flying by hand here, it does have an autopilot. I'm not using that. Okay, coming up on 3,000. I'm going to add some power here. Yeah, we can level off right there.
Sky 616, understand. Y21 Bravo Charlie, Phoenix Tower, runway 8, clear for takeoff, wind 2305.
Localizers come in. Final approach course is 197.
Skyhead 616, to Arc Silent. Yeah, center 126.6 and
okay, we're going to begin our turn over to 197.
Sky 616, read back correct.
It's going to nudge it over since we're pretty close to the localizer now. Right there. Set the heading bug. And 3,000. Now we're looking for glide slope. Localizers coming in. All kinds of IMC. Good thing we filed IFR. I always like it when the real world weather matches what we're trying to do here. Okay, good on localizer, just looking for glide slope now. For reference purposes, I'll go ahead and bring up ForeFlight and see where we are on the approach right there. That certainly agrees with what we're seeing. Just going to hold 3,000 and then we'll start our descent here. Whoops. Need to do that. That's better. try to get rid of ForeFlight and turn my avionics master off. Okay, we're just going to start a nice gentle descent.
Skyhead 616, release your departure clearance will turn not off in 5 minutes. If not off in 5 minutes, advise intentions. This frequency not later than 8 minutes. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Coming left. So on glide slow.
Sky 616, it's not required to put in your clearance because out of a uncontrolled airport, ATC is not going to assign you a departure procedure most often. That would be something you could let the controller know once you get airborne. When you check in with your altitude, and you can say on the whatever ODP, and that'll give us all the information we need.
She's
So we'll
referring
shall
to
contact
an
departure.
obstacle departure procedure there. Okay. Looking good there, and so what I started to say, as soon as we reach 2,500.
Phoenix departure November 121 Bravo Charlie with you, 5,000.
121 Bravo Charlie.
That means
Phoenix
we're going to be right
departure,
there
radar
at Womex
contact,
intersection.
climb and maintain flight level 210.
So we're at Womex right now, because we're on glide slow.
Climb and
at
maintain flight level
2,500.
210, November 121 Bravo Charlie.
Pretty soon here she'll allow us to switch over to the advisory frequency, which we have set up in standby 123.05. And then she'll give us the frequency to either do the missed approach or cancel in the air or cancel on the ground. And of course we're going to be doing the missed approach today.
On Capital Tower 55.
So we're going to fly this down to 642. 642 is the magic number for us. That's our decision altitude for this approach. Holding a little bit left to keep that localizer centered. Now we're going to go ahead and add our first notch of flaps. 10 degrees is set.
To 8 Romeo traffic is served between you and Bremerton Airport. Radar services
Warning,
are
terrain
terminated.
ahead.
Report after cancellation or misapproach airborne this frequency or on the ground 122.2. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Okay, change to advisory frequency is approved, and we'll stay with you on either missed or cancel
Alert,
in the air.
terrain
122
ahead.
if canceling on the ground. 28 Romeo. Okay.
Three-mile
Bremerton
final
traffic,
runway
Cherokee 742
20.
at Romeo is 5 miles north. Inbound ILS runway 20 approach Bremerton traffic.
Warning, obstacle ahead.
That's ForeFlight. It's good and sometimes annoying because it comes up more often than I'd like.
Warning, obstacle ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the ILS and I don't know why. And you're on the ILS and you're according to the published ILS and you're on glide slope, there's no reason to be concerned about colliding.
Warning,
Kind of
obstacle
obstacles.
ahead.
Yeah. So, just gonna ignore that. Coming left a little bit to re-intercept the localizer. We're gonna add our second notch of flaps. And we're gonna go through a pre-landing checklist. So we're gonna have our fuel pump on, landing light on. We're gonna switch over to our left fuel tank. Localizer's coming back in, so we're gonna come right and decrease the rate of descent at low power.
Warning, obstacle ahead.
That's our friendly ForeFlight again. I'm going to temporarily level off just to bring that glide slope back in. Okay, coming left. Stay on localizer. S642 is the magic number for us. Airspeed's looking good, but add a little bit of power. looks good. Localizer is coming back
500.
in. Slope's coming back in. That's the 500 AGL warning from ForeFlight. 642 is the magic number. Okay, we're going to decrease power just a little bit. Holding left, of course. I think that's wind correction that we're looking at there. There's 900 coming up on 800. We're going to decrease power just a tad, just to recapture that glide slope, coming back right a little bit with some little lashes. One that move right on us a little bit. There's 700. There's decision altitude, just to give you a look. There's the runway, and we're going to go missed. We're going to have full power. Slowly retract flaps. There's first notch, second notch. And we're going to fly runway heading. And climb to 4,000. So we're going to do a VY climb here at 85 miles per hour. And once we get stabilized, we'll flip back over to Seattle approach and inform them that we're on the mist. Ask for the published hold at CARRO intersection. Okay, so I'm going to flip over now to the Olivia 1. So again, there's no rush to contact approach. Well, once we're all stabilized here and satisfied, listen for a little bit. It's always good practice to make sure you're not interfering with other radio traffic. Seattle approach, Cherokee 742 at Romeo is on the mist.
There's 742 Romeo, Seattle approach,
I didn't do it.
Near 2 Romeo, radar contact 2 miles southwest of Bremerton Airport. Stay in tension.
We'd like to do the published hold, and then we'll advise when we're ready to reshoot the ILS 20.
Or 7428 Romeo. Execute missed approach is published. Expect further clearance. 0055. Time now. Correction, I'll make that 0105. 0105. Time now 0041 and 3/4.
Okay, expect further clearance 0105 for 2 in Romeo. Oop, there's 1,000. Level off. Pay attention to that. Full power back. Double back. Right, you want 4,000. And we reached it well before the hold. That power back. And once we're stabilized, we'll do our cruise checklist. There's no hurry for that right now. Okay, so we're looking for the CDI to come in, and that's going to tell us that we're on the 346 radial. There's more than 1,000. Okay. Fuel tank, fullest tank is the right tank, so we're going to switch back over to the right tank.
1 Bravo Charlie.
Landing light off.
Expect flight level 200 to be your final, and descent at pilot discretion, maintain 14,000. Phoenix altimeter 2991.
Look at the CDI starting to come in.
Say that again, number 121 Bravo Charlie.
1 Bravo Charlie, descent at pilot discretion, maintain 14,000.
14,000, 1 Bravo Charlie.
So pilot discretion means he can descend when he chooses to descend, but his clearance limit is 14,000. All right, CDI's coming in. We'll bring up for flight here in a little bit. No hurry for that. Flying the instruments. Okay, I'm going to turn left to 166. Standard rate turn. No, reset the heading bug, make it 4,000.
TV1 Bravo Charlie, just to confirm it's at pilot's discretion if you wanted to maintain altitude for a little while. You don't have to start your descent right away.
There we go. 166.
Okay, yeah, there's some clouds up here, so I'll just start going down now. 1 Bravo Charlie.
Okay, so we're going to hold that radial, and again, we're
Sky High 616, turn left direct Orcus. Cross Orcus at cross Orcus at 4,000 or above. Cleared RNAV, runway 34 approach.
Okay, Orcus, that's Orcus Island, San Juan Island. That's a beautiful place to fly. I've got some GoPro videos of flying up the islands there. Orcus Island, landed there. And Friday Harbor, Lopez Island. It's a great place to fly. Okay, so we're looking for the CDI here, the SeaTac to CARRO intersection that I have preset in the GPS. I'm looking for that to center. When that centers, I'm going to know that I'm at the CARRO intersection, and then
1 Bravo Charlie, contacting accepted 133.57.
I'm going to initiate my right turn into the holding pattern. I'll do 2 times around the racetrack,
133.57, 1 Bravo
and then
Charlie.
request vectors to shoot the ILS 20 again. This will be simulating making an attempt to land. The weather didn't permit us to get in. We give it another try, hoping that the weather minimums improve. Gotta come right. Get back on that. Radial. I'll hold 180 for now. Okay, so
Phoenix approach, number 121 Bravo Charlie with you, 16,000.
looking at that,
742 Romeo, Seattle, correction, Seattle altimeter 2998.
2998 for 28 Romeo, thanks.
121 Bravo Charlie, Phoenix approach, Sedona, altimeter 300 for approach request.
No, I will switch to this frequency, 1 Bravo Charlie.
121 Bravo Charlie, you're going to Sedona Airport, roughly probably 30 more miles or so. Just advise when you have the weather and say approach request.
Okay, we'll do. Once at the airport in sight, we'll call you back. 1 Bravo Charlie.
No, 1 Bravo Charlie, descend discretion, maintain 10,000.
Pilot's discretion 0,000, 1 Bravo Charlie.
There's the CDI, as you can see. We're treating that, as I said, as a VOR. Then I'll start my stopwatch when that centers. And again, at 1 minute. We'll do 1 minute leg. There. Standard rate turn to the right. And when I roll out, I'll start the stopwatch and time it for 1 minute. Maintaining 4,000 standard rate. 2 heading 346. There's 346. Rolling out right there, and stopwatch started. Now watch that altitude. There I was looking for the panel lights on here. On my airplane, when you turn your nav lights on, it illuminates your panel. Nav lights are on here, but it is not illuminating the panel. So I'm not seeing that. Okay. Do the best we can with it. There's 45 seconds, then we'll do a right turn. Standard rate turn to the right. And back inbound to CARRO intersection. 56 seconds. Alright, standard rate turn to the right. To heading 166. Which we have set there on our heading bug. And once I reach CARRO intersection, I'm going to begin the right turn, and then I'm going to request vectors for the ILS 120 approach again. Alright, there's 166. Looks like a little bit left of that radial, so we're just going to keep turning right just a little bit past 166. Recapture it. So now we're looking again at the CDI on our GPS and treating that as a VOR. when that centers, we'll initiate our right turn, and then I'll get on with approach and request our the vectors for the ILS 20. CDI's coming in on the GPS. Bring torque light up here in a little bit. I'm going to try to concentrate on the instruments for now. Almost at CARRO. Looking down here. Looking for that to center. Almost there. There it is. Standard rate turn to the right. And once I roll out, I'm going to get on with approach and again ask for vectors. Once again. And then we'll flip back over to the localizer. We're turning to heading 346. Coming up on 300. Seattle approach, Cherokee 7428 Romeo would like vectors for the ILS 20 approach.
Sky 616, change the advisory frequency is approved. Report Alpha cancellation and misapproaches frequency or on the ground 122.2.
Seattle approach, Cherokee 742 Romeo request.
Air 1 Bravo Charlie, the airport is off here about your 1 o'clock and 16 miles. Set of passenger should maintain, actually I already gave that to you, 10,000.
Yep, we were just about to begin our descent, starting now, 1 Bravo Charlie.
Artillery Romeo. Artillery Romeo.
This is 742 Romeo, we're broken on that last transmission. Say again, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 742 Romeo would like vectors for the ILS 20 approach. We'd like to reshoot that approach, please.
Air 28 Romeo, fly heading 200. Radar vectors, ILS RWY 20 approach, maintain 4,000.
Maintain 4,000. We missed the heading. Say again for 28 Romeo.
Air 28 Romeo heading 030.
030 for 28 Romeo. All right. our strobe. I'm going to turn that off.
Air 1 Bravo Charlie, flighting 040, report airport in sight.
Yeah, there's
040, we got the airport in sight.
something going on with, I don't think it's my radio.
Air 1 Bravo Charlie, cleared visual approach. And radar services are terminated. Report IFR cancellation. Airborne this frequency or on the ground 122.2 and change device frequency is a
But the last couple of times ATC's communications are coming in.
Alright, frequency change
broken.
approved. We'll go ahead and cancel our IFR right now for 1 Bravo Charlie.
No, 1 Bravo Charlie,
Switch over
red
now to localized.
IFR cancellation is received. Squawk V4, frequency change approved. Have a safe landing.
Thanks, talk to you later, Bravo Charlie.
Okay, so we're good on heading 030 and 4000. She's vectoring us in, as she said, for the ILS 20 as requested. Set to the localizer frequency. Love to figure out how to get the panel lights on again. It's not set up the same way as my airplane. It's something I'm going to have to figure out. Back at sea, not super well. Set the heading bug to 030. So if you have the strobe light on and you're in the clouds,
Okay, Air 17. Farmington ground
that's the
standby.
effect you get. And obviously that doesn't work well, so. Okay, let's bring up per flight. Show you what we got going on here. That was our hold. Now we're being vectored back, as you can see, more or less parallel to the final approach course. She'll probably give us a left turn here. We'll probably end up paralleling the final approach course, and she'll vector us back in. We'll put it on the ground and call it a day, and then we'll do a debrief when we taxi over to parking. Lots of IMC. And that's good training because what happens is, as you can see, those cloud formations, those layers, as the airplane passes through them, they're not horizontal, they're not parallel to the ground. And so a lot of times your eyes are deceived into trying to follow those cloud lines as if that was your horizon. It's sort of a psychological thing, so you have to really ignore that. Obviously, pay attention to your instruments, but that can be really distracting if you're looking out there and you see all these different lines moving across your windscreen.
Okay, air cleared to Prescott Airport. Chaco 1 departure. All up. Transition. Direct. I totally forgot the name of the viewer. India November Whiskey. As filed. Maintain 11,000. Expect flight level 3010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.57 and squawk 2344.
Now, the other thing in my airplane is that
Okay, Air 17, read back correct. Expect runway 25.
Several of these instruments are illuminated, and they have their own light in the instrument itself. I'm not seeing that here, so again, that's going to be a research thing. Find out what I need to do to get those panel lights on. Like I said, I can fly it. Yeah, we're above the clouds. You can see that beautiful evening sky. Bring up four flank and see what we got going on.
Sky 66. Yeah.
See, there again, broken. And I'm not hearing that broken transmission on the aircraft that are talking to her. And that's what's kind of a head scratcher for me. That's just the ATC comms. I'm hearing the pilots loud and clear. Coming right over that back on at 030. try some here. I think you can dim the screen a little bit. That's not so overwhelming. Not sure that worked. It dimmed the screen on my iPad, but I don't see that being reflected on the screen mirroring. So I'm going to make that go away for now so it doesn't become a distraction for me. Okay, we're looking good at 4,000 and on heading 030. Fuel is looking good. We're set on the right tank. If I can only figure out that panel light situation, I'd be really super happy. But I've been jumping out at me. Gonna keep flying it the way it is. By the way, I was flying from Vancouver, real world, from Vancouver, Washington up to Tacoma Narrows. It's about a 98-mile line of sight flight. And I'm looking over at my fuel gauge, my oil temperature gauge, you know, because I'm kind of generally doing an instrument scan and engine instrument scan as part of my navigation instrument scan. So I'm looking over there, and I see it's down to 0 on oil temp. And I'm like, that is not possible. That's impossible for it to go from, you know, reading about where it is right now, oil temp right here, all the way down to 0. And the other thing I noticed is that my panel light, which is above my head, is actually up here. This here is a light, a panel light. I wonder if there's a switch up here that does that. No. Nah, I don't know. Anyway, and that went out, so that's out. That oil temperature gauge is out. And I forget, some other light went out. I can't remember what it was. Something else went out. And so it was a fuse. All that stuff was on the same fuse. So I'm trying to fly kind of like now, but using a flashlight. So I have little tiny, one of them's red and one is white light flashlights. So I'm having to use that to see my directional gyro, my airspeed indicator.
Ontario Romeo, 2 degrees left. I'll have a turn for you here at about 5 miles.
Say again, turn instructions for 28 Romeo.
28 Romeo, 10 degrees to the left, and expect a turn for the localizer at about 5 miles.
10 left, and then we'll expect a turn in about 5 for 28 Romeo. Localizer just woke up. Bring up four flank and see what we got going on. Okay. Yeah, she's got us parallel now. Trying to see what I got going on here on the panel. Lesson learned, I guess. So that's where we are. About 5 miles. And so this distance ring, this inner ring here is a 5 nautical mile ring. Then I have a 10 nautical mile ring out here. So probably somewhere in here should be MSR. Left turn. Take that go away for now. It's kind of overwhelming.
Calling Phoenix clearance 505.
When you're looking at a dark panel. So the only instrument that I'm seeing on here that has its own illumination is the flap indicator. Yeah, it's like, oh, and the turn, it looks like the turn coordinator maybe has its own illumination, which is really bizarre to me, but there's something I'm overlooking here. I don't know what it is, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get off course here trying to fiddle with it. Come back right.
Number 2A Romeo, turn left 310.
Left turn 310 for 28 Romeo. That right there is what we got going on.
Southwest 94 Phoenix clearance. Good evening, clear to Los Angeles International Airport. Keys to departure. Messy transition. As filed. Climb via SID. Expect flight level 320 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2. Squawk 704.
So getting back to my fuse situation, I didn't know it was, I suspected a fuse because multiple things went out all at the same time.
Southwest 930, read back direct.
She should be giving us another turn here pretty quick. If it were my fuel pressure indicator gauge.
Piper 28 Romeo, turn left heading 220, join the localizer.
Left turn 220 to join localizer 28 Romeo. Sharp eye on that localizer rolling out on 220. Right there. Gonna rebug it. That's bugged.
Arturo Romeo, 5 miles from Womax, maintain 3000 till established, localizer at ILS RWY 20 approved.
Okay, down to 3000 until established and cleared for the ILS 20 approach to 28 Romeo. So we're going to go down to 3000 here. Localizer's coming in. Final approach course 197. I'm turning now to 197. Standard rate turn left. I'm going to roll that on 190 just to kind of bring that localizer back in. Right there. Decrease my rate of descent. Localizer's looking good. Looking for glide slope.
Okay, Air 719, fire to ground, runway 25, taxi via Alpha.
Gonna rebug it. There. And we're definitely getting a push from the left. I saw that on my ground speed. When we were intercepting the localizer, our ground speed was 124 miles an hour, which means we were definitely getting pushed from the left, from behind. Now that's to our left. Coming up on 3000, we'll bring the power back in. So I'm going to have to hold a little bit left of our final approach course. Keep that localizer down. This one to blow us. Okay, there's 3000. To start our descent here, pretty quick localizers. The glide slopes coming in. Alright, we're going to use power. Nice gentle descent. I'm a little bit right over our final approach course, so bring that localizer back in now. Turning left and come back.
You're 28 Romeo, no traffic reserved between you and Bremerton Airport. There is traffic though off your right wing at the roughly 8 o'clock and 3 miles eastbound. Altitude indicates 2,700. Type unknown. Appears he'll be passing behind you. Should be no factor. Radar services are terminated. Report IFR cancellation on Mr. Approach airborne this frequency. You're on the ground 122.2. Change device frequency approved.
Okay, switch to advisory frequency approved, and we'll either cancel at 1222 on the ground or with you on mist or cancel in the air.
Okay, Air 17, Bremerton Tower, runway 25, clear for takeoff.
right of course. So the wind, I guess I'm standing corrected here. It appears the wind is coming from the right, based on the behavior of the airplane. Okay, switching over to advisory 2305. And we are 7 miles. Bremerton traffic, Cherokee 742 at Romeo, 7 miles north, inbound ILS runway 20 approach, Bremerton traffic. Okay, localizer's looking good, glide slope is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and add our first notch of flaps. We are inside the arc. I'm going to slow it down just a tad here. Bring that airspeed down just a little bit before I put that first notch of flaps in. There we go, first notch of flaps is set. Okay, glide slope's looking good, localizer looking good. Gonna bring our plate up. 642 is the magic
Warning,
number.
obstacle ahead.
642, 642. Gonna reduce the sink rate just a little bit.
Alert, terrain ahead.
Yeah. Add a little bit of power. Decrease the sink rate a tad. Lower glide slope there. And second notch flaps.
Three-mile final runway 20. Warning, obstacle ahead.
Bremerton traffic, Cherokee 742 at Romeo is on 3 mile final for runway 20. Full stop, Bremerton.
Warning, obstacle ahead.
Leveled off briefly there just to recapture that glide slope. Kind of looking good now, 1,500 for 642. 642, pre-landing checklist. Fuel pump on. Landing light on. Mixture full rich. Coming right. Okay, airspeed's looking great. We have 25 degree flaps set. I don't set the final 45 degrees of flaps until I'm at the decision altitude, which is 642. Looking good on glide slope. A little bit right of course, coming left to intercept the localizer. There's 1,200, about 600 to go. Coming back right. And we're going to reduce power a little bit, increase that sink rate. And it's coming down now. Coming right. Sink rate's looking good. Looks like we got the glide slope coming back right a little bit to intercept the low.
500.
That's four-flight. Haven't been looking at four-flight, really just flying the, kind of fly the needles here. There's 900. Put up on 800. Glide slope's good, airspeed's good. Pre-landing checklist is complete. Just gonna hold that right there. Coming up on 700. magic number. That's right. All right, out from under. There's the runway. Final notch of flaps. And landings assured right back. All right, on the ground, flaps retract. Gonna turn out of this taxiway right here. And once we get clear of the runway, we'll clean up the airplane a little bit, park, and then we'll debrief the flight. Bremerton traffic, Cherokee 742 Romeo's clear of the runway, Bremerton. Alright, so let's turn the fuel pump off. We're going to need the landing light. We're going to lean for taxi. And park. We'll park straight ahead. Shut everything down here. Red avionics master off. All other switches. And master switch. Idle cut off. And mags off. Okay, let's bring up ForeFlight. And we'll shrink it down. Whoops, map view, and talk about our entire flight. All right, starting with our takeoff. So we took off runway 17, and then we made a right turnout and made a downwind departure to the north. So we're on a north heading there. And then somewhere in here, we asked for to pick up our IFR clearance, which we had already filed. That clearance was given just before we got into IMC. We were at 3,500. We were given instructions to climb to 4,000. That was my filed altitude. So she was giving us vectors here. I'm going to change that, orient it. There we go. Yeah, she took us a little further out than I would have liked, but nonetheless, that's where we were given our turn to our intercept course. I don't remember what that heading was exactly, but and then we were cleared for the approach and then given instruction to descend and maintain 3,000 till established on the localizer. We flew that down to the decision altitude of 642 feet. And then we executed the missed approach somewhere in here. And then we flew runway heading until we intercepted the Olympia 346 radial right there. So you can see where that's where we intercepted the radial, made our left turn. And then we were looking for CARRO intersection, and as I indicated earlier, we had that set up in our GPS, and we treated the GPS as if it were a second VOR. So I had that set for CTAC, this leg, CTAC to CARRO intersection. We waited for that to CDI and that to center. When it centered, we made our standard rate turn to the right to heading 346, timed it for 1 minute, standard rate turn to the right, re-intercepted CARRO intersection, again a standard rate turn to the right. And then we requested the vectors for the ILS 20 approach, and that was our vector course right there. And she took us out, not quite as far as we went the first time, And then we made 2 turns to intercept the final approach course of 197 degrees. And then we were cleared for the approach, and then she handed us off to the CTAF frequency. So that's it, back on the ground, cancel IFR, a lot of stuff going on there. I know, like I said earlier, it's 15 nautical miles away, but when you file an IFR flight plan and you have to fly vectors, it ends up being a lot longer, especially, since we did the mist. That it took quite a while. But a lot of stuff in there, and hopefully you glean something that might be useful to you. Thanks, as always, for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.